we don't enjoy ourselves.
To think that 5 and 20 years have elapsed since she was banished. What could she have done to deserve so terrible a punishment?
Something awful. She married a mortal.
Oh! Is it injudicious to marry a mortal?
Injudicious? Why, it strikes at the whole root of the fairy system. By our laws, the fairy who marries a mortal dies.
But Iolanthe didn't die.
No, because your queen, who loved her with a surpassing love, commuted her sentence to penal servitude for life, on condition that she left her husband without a word of explanation and never communicated with him again.
And that sentence of penal servitude she is now working out on her head at the bottom of that stream.
Yes, but when I banished her, I gave her all the pleasant places of the world to dwell in. I'm sure I never intended that she should go and live at the bottom of a stream. It makes me perfectly wretched to think of the discomfort she must have undergone.
Think of the damp, and her chest was always delicate. Oh, dear.
And the frogs. Oh. I never shall enjoy any peace of mind until I understand why Iolanthe went to live among the frogs.
Then why not summon her and ask her?
Why? Because if I should set eyes on her, I would forgive her at once.
Oh, then why not forgive her? 25 years, it's a long time.
Think how we loved her.
Loved her? What was your love to mine? Why, she was invaluable to me. You taught me to dive into a dewdrop. Iolanthe, who taught me to swing upon a cobweb. Iolanthe, who taught me to nestle in a nutshell, to curl myself inside a buttercup, to gamble upon gossamer. Iolanthe.
She certainly did surprising things.
Oh, give her back to us, great queen! For your sake, if not for ours!
Oh, I should be strong, but I am weak. I should be marble, but I am clay. Her punishment has been heavier than I intended. I did not mean that she should live among the frogs, and, well, it shall be as you wish. It shall be as you wish. Iolanthe, from thy dark exile thou art summoned. For a dark sin against our fairy laws, we sent thee into lifelong banishment. But mercy holds her sway within our hearts. Rise, thou art to choose from, why on earth did you decide to live at the bottom of that stream?
To be near my son, Strephon.
Bless my heart! I didn't know you had a son.
He was born soon after I left my husband by your royal command, but he doesn't even know of his father's existence.
Oh, just how old is he?
24.
Oh, 24? No one to look at you would think you had a son of 24. But that's one of the advantages of being immortal. We never grow old.
Is he pretty? He is extremely pretty, but he's inclined to be stout.
I see no objection to stoutness, in moderation.
And what is he?
He is an Arcadian shepherd, and he loves Phyllis, a ward in Chancery.
A mere shepherd, and he half a fairy?
He's a fairy down to the waist, but his legs are mortal.
Dear me!
I have no reason to suppose that I am more curious than other people, but I confess I should like to see a person who is a fairy down to the waist, but whose legs are mortal.
Nothing easier, for here he comes.
Good morrow, good mother. Good mother, good morrow. By some means or other, pray banish your sorrow. With joy beyond telling, my bosom is swelling, so join in a measure expressive of pleasure, for I'm to be married today, today, yes, I'm to be married today.
Yes, he's to be married today, today. Yes, he's to be married today.
Then the Lord Chancellor has at last given his consent to your marriage with his beautiful ward, Phyllis?
Not he indeed. To all my tearful cries he answers me.
A shepherd lad is no fit helpmate for a ward of Chancery.
I stood there in court and sang him songs of Arcady with flageolet accompaniment. At first he seemed amused, so did the bar, but quickly wearying of my song and pipe, he bade me get out. A servile usher then, in pompous bands and russet bombazine, led me, still singing, into Chancery Lane. I'll go no more. I'll marry her today, and braid the upshot, be what it may. And who are these?
Rejoice with me, Strephon. My queen has pardoned me.
Pardoned you, mother? This is good news indeed.
And these ladies are my beloved sisters.
Your sisters? Then they are my aunts.
A pleasant piece of news for your bride on her wedding day.
Hush! My bride knows nothing of my fairyhood. She thinks me mortal and prefers me so, lest it would frighten her.
Your fairyhood doesn't seem to have done you much good.
Much good? My dear aunt is the curse of my existence. What good is it being half a fairy? I can make my body creep through a keyhole, but what good is that if my legs are left kicking behind? I can make myself invisible down to the waist, but that's of no use if my legs remain exposed to view. My brain is a fairy brain, but my legs are a couple of gibbering idiots. My upper half is immortal, but my lower half grows older with every day, and someday or other must eventually die of old age. What's to become of my upper half when I've buried my lower half? I really don't know.
Poor fellow!
I see your difficulty, but with a fairy brain, you should seek an intellectual sphere of action. Let me see. I've a borough or two at my disposal. Would you like to go into Parliament?
A fairy member? That would be delightful.
Oh, I'm afraid I would do no good there. You see, I'm a Tory of the most determined description, down to the waist. But my legs are a couple of confounded radicals, and in a division they'd be sure to take me into the wrong lobby. They're 2-1, and that's a strong working majority.
Don't let that distress you. You shall be returned as a liberal conservative. And your legs shall be our peculiar care.
I see your majesty does not do things by halves.
No, we are fairies down to the feet.
Very well, attractive stranger. Very well, attractive stranger. Shouldst thou be in doubt or danger, peril or perplexity, call us and we'll come to thee. I call us and we'll come to thee. Tripping hither, your body knows why we must now be taking wing to another fairy ring. Tripping hither, we must now be taking wing to another fairy ring. Good morrow, good lover, good morrow. I prithee discover, still purchase or borrow, some means of concealing the care you are feeling and join in a measure expressive of pleasure. For we're to be married today, yes, we're to be married today.
Yes, we're to be married today. Yes, we're to be married today.
Phyllis, and today we're to be made happy forever.
Well, we're to be married.
It's the same thing.
I suppose it is. Oh, but Strephon, I tremble at the step I'm taking. I believe it's penal servitude for life to marry a ward of court without the Lord Chancellor's consent. I shall be of age in 2 years. Don't you think you could wait 2 years?
2 years? Have you looked in the glass?
No, never.
Here. Look at that and tell me you think it's rational for me to expect to wait 2 years.
No, you're quite right. It's asking too much. One must be reasonable.
Besides, who knows what could happen in 2 years? Why, you may fall in love with the Lord Chancellor himself by that time.
Yes, he's a clean old gentleman.
As it is, half the House of Lords are sighing at your feet.
The House of Lords are certainly extremely attentive.
Attentive? I should think they were. Why did 25 Liberal peers come to shoot over your grass plot last autumn? It couldn't have been the sparrows. Why did 25 Conservative peers come to fish in your pond? Don't tell me it was the goldfish. No, no, delays are dangerous. The sooner we get married, the better.
None shall come
excellent, it has no kind of fault or flaw, and I, me lords, embody the law. The constitutional guardian I of pretty young wards in Chancery, all very agreeable girls, and none are over the age of 21. A pleasant occupation for a rather susceptible chancellor. A pleasant occupation for a rather susceptible chancellor. But though the compliment implied inflates me with legitimate pride, it nevertheless can't be denied that it has its inconvenient side. For I'm not so old, and I'm not so plain, and I'm quite prepared to marry again. But there'd be the deuce to pay in the Lords if I fell in love with one of me wards. Which rather tries my temper, for I'm such a susceptible chancellor. Which rather tries his temper, for he's such a susceptible chancellor. And everyone who'd marry a ward must come to me for my accord, and in my court I sit all day, giving agreeable girls away. With one for him, and one for he, and one for thou, and one for thee, and one for you. It'll never happen. And one for me, but never, oh never, one for me. Which is exasperating for a highly susceptible chancellor. Which is exasperating for a highly susceptible chancellor.
And now, my lords, to the business of the day.
By all means. Phyllis, who is a ward of court, has so powerfully affected your lordships that you have appealed to me in a body to award her to whichever one of you she may deem necessary to select. And a noble lord has gone to her cottage to request her immediate attendance. It would be idle to deny that I myself have the misfortune to be singularly attracted by this young person. My regard for her is rapidly undermining my constitution. 3 months ago, I was a stout man. I need say no more. If I could reconcile it with my duty, I should unhesitatingly award her to myself. For I can conscientiously say I know no man who is so well fitted to render her exceptionally happy. But such an award would be open to misconstruction. And therefore, at whatever personal inconvenience, I waive my claim.
My lord, I desire on the part of this house to express its sincere sympathies with your lordship's most painful position.
I thank your lordships. The feelings of a Lord Chancellor who is in love with a ward of his own court are not to be envied. What is his position? Can he marry his own ward without his own consent? And if he marry his own ward without his own consent, can he commit himself for contempt of his own court? And if he commit himself for contempt of his own court, can he appear by counsel before himself to move for arrest of his own judgment? Oh, my lords, it is indeed painful to have to sit upon a woolstack which is stuffed with thorns such as these.
My lords, I have much pleasure in announcing that I have succeeded in inducing the young person to present herself at the bar of this house.
My well-loved lord and guardian dear, you summoned me and I am here.
Oh, rapture, how beautiful, how gentle, how beautiful.
Of all the young ladies I know, this pretty young lady's the fairest, lips had the rosiest show, her eyes were the richest and rarest, her origins lowly, it's true, but of birth and position I plenty, I'm grammar and spelling for 2, and blood and behavior for 20.
Diverge on every conceivable motion. All questions of party are merged in a frenzy of love and devotion. If you ask us distinctly to say what party we claim to belong to, we reply without doubt or delay, the party we're singing this song to. If you ask us distinctly to say, we reply without doubt or delay, the party we claim to belong to is a party we're singing this song to. The party we claim to belong to is the party we're singing this song
to. I'm very much afraid to refuse, but I'll stick to my pipes and my tables. I can spell all the words that I use, and my grammar's as good as my neighbor's. As for birth, I was born like the rest. My behavior is rustic but party, and I know which to turn for the best when I want a particular party.
Though her station is none the best, I suppose she was born like the rest. She knows where to look for a party when she wants a particular party. She knows where to look
whenever I want a
to serve us now, though day must defy our definite command.
'Tis I, young Strephon, mine this priceless treasure. Against the world, I claim my darling's hand. A shepherd he, of Arcady, betrothed are they, and mean to be espoused today. A shepherd he, of Arcady, a shepherd he, of Arcady, betrothed is he, and means to be espoused today. 'Neath this blow, was the step of dagger, oh, we momentarily stagger. In each heart, proud are we innately, let's depart, dignified and stately. Let's depart, dignified and stately. 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 Dignified and stately.
Now, sir, what excuse have you to offer for having disobeyed an order of the Court of Chancery?
My lord, I know no courts of chancery. I go by nature's acts of parliament. The bees, the breeze, the seas, the rooks, the brooks, the gales, the fails, the fountains, and the mountains cry, you love this maiden. Take her, we command you. 'Tis written heaven with each bright barbed dart, which leaps forth into lurid light from each grim thundercloud. The very rain pours forth her sad and sodden sympathy. With chorus nature reply, take my love, we command you. Am I to reply, nay, a certain chancellor forbids it? Hear, hear. My lord, you are High Chancellor of England, but are you Chancellor of the birds and trees, King of the winds, Prince of thunderclouds?
No. It's a nice point. I don't know that I've ever met it before. But my difficulty is, at present, there's no evidence before the court that chorus nature has interested herself in the matter.
No evidence? My lord, you have my word for it. She bade me take my love.
Ah, but my good sir, you mustn't tell us what she told you. It's not evidence. Now, a few words on oath from a thunderstorm or an affidavit from a heavy shower would meet with all the attention they deserve.
But do you have the heart to carry out the prosaic rules of evidence in a case which bubble over with poetical emotion?
Distinctly. I have always kept my duty strictly before my eyes, and it is to that fact that I owe my advancement to my present distinguished position. When I went to the bar as a very young man, said I to myself, said I'll work on a new and original plan. Said I to myself, said I'll never assume that a rogue or a thief is a gentleman worthy implicit belief, because his attorney has sent me a brief. Said I to myself, said I. Ere I go into court, I will read my brief through, said I to myself, said I. And I'll never take work I'm unable to do, said I to myself, said I. My learned profession I'll never disgrace by taking a fee with a grin on my face when I haven't been there to attend to the case, said I to myself, said I. I'll never throw dust in a juryman's eyes, said I to myself, said I. Nor hoodwink a judge who is not overwise, said I to myself, said I. Or assume that the witness is summoned in force in Exchequer, Queen's Bench, Common Pleas, or divorce, have perjured themselves as a matter of course, said I to myself, said I. In other professions in which men engage, said I to myself, said I. The army, the navy, the church, and the stage. Said I to myself, said I, professional license if carried too far, your chance of promotion may certainly mar, and I fancy that rule might apply to the bar. Said I to myself, said I.
Oh, Phyllis, just as I was on the point of making you my own, to be taken from you, oh, it's too much, too much.
My son in tears, and on his wedding day.
My wedding day? Oh, Mother, weep with me, for the courts have interposed between us, and the Lord Chancellor has separated us forever.
The Lord Chancellor, he did but know.
He did but know what?
Never mind. The Lord Chancellor has no power over you, for you are a fairy, and you can defy him down to the waist.
But he could commit my lower half to prison for years. Of what avails it if my upper half is free, and my legs have to carry out 7 years penal servitude?
True. But take heart. Our queen has promised you her special protection. I will go to her and lay your particular case before her.
Oh, my beloved mother, how can I repay the debt I owe you?
When darkly looms the day, and all is dull and grey, to chase the gloom away, on thee I'll call.
What was that?
I think I heard him say that on a rainy day, to while the time away, on her he'd call.
We think we heard him say that on a rainy day, to while the time away, on her he'd call.
When tempests wreck thy bark, and all is drear and dark, if thou shouldst need an ark, I'll give thee one.
What was that?
I heard the minx remark she'd meet him after dark inside St. James's Park and give him one.
You heard the minx remark she'd meet him after dark inside St. James's Park and give him one.
The prospect's not so bad, my heart's so sore and sad, may very soon be glad as all the sun. When the sky is dark and tempest wreck his bark, if I should need an ark, she'll give him one. Give him one. Give him one.
Oh, shameless and tremble, they do not endeavor
me kindly this lady's. My mother.
This lady's is what?
This lady's my mother.
This lady's is what?
He says she's his mother. What means this mirth unseemly that shakes the listening earth?
The joke is good extremely and justifies our mirth.
This gentleman seen with a maid of 17 taking of his dolce far niente, and wonders in a chief, for he asks us to believe she's his mother and he's nearly 25. Recollect yourself, I pray, and be careful what you say, as the ancient Roman said, festina lente. For I really do not see how so young a girl can be the mother of a man of 25.
My Lord, of evidence I have no dearth. She is, has been my mother from my birth. In babyhood, upon her lap I lay, with infant food she moistened my clay. Had she withheld the succor she supplied, by hunger quelled your Strephon might have died.
Had that refreshment been denied, indeed our Strephon might have died.
Had that refreshment been denied, indeed our Strephon might have died.
But as she's not his mother, it appears, why weep these hot, unnecessary tears? And by what law should we so joyously rejoice because our Strephon did not die? Or rather, let us pipe an eye, because our Strephon did not die.
That's very true, let's pipe our eye, because our Strephon did not die.
Traitorous one, forever we must part. To one of you, my lords, I give my heart.
Oh, rapture,
Hear me, Phyllis.
oh, rapture,
Where you lead me?
Not a word you did deceive me.
Hear me, Phyllis.
Did deceive me.
not a
presents made. No, no.
Ho, ho.
No, no.
Ho, ho.
Mighty protectress, hasten to my aid.
My love has caught me talking to another.
Oh, fie, a strapping little rogue.
I tell her very plainly that the lady is my mother.
Little tall old maid.
She won't believe my statement and declares she must be haunted because on the career double dealing I have started and gives her hat to one of these lazy broken hearted.
Little tall old maid.
How cruel wants to separate two lovers from each other.
Oh, fine, our Steffen's not a rogue.
You've done him an injustice, for the lady is his mother.
Taradiddle, tall long lane.
That fable practically serviced her as well as any other. I didn't see her face, but if they fondled one another, and she's but 17, I don't believe it was his mother. Taradiddle, tall long lane.
I have often had a use for the thoroughbred excuse of a son which is English for a pente. But of all I ever heard, this is much the most absurd, for she's 17 and he is 5 and 20.
When she is 17 and he is 4 and 5 and 20. Oh, fine, a strapping little rogue.
Now listen, pray to me, for this paradox will be carried in nobody at all contradicente. Her age upon the date of his birth was -8. If she's 17 and he is 5 and 20.
If she is 17 and he is 4 and 5 and 20. To say she is his mother is an attribute of folly. Oh, fine, a strapping little rogue. Perhaps his brain is addled and is very melancholy. Taradiddle, tall long lane. I wouldn't say a word that could be reckoned as injurious, but to find a mother younger than her son is very curious. And that's the kind of mother that is usually serious. Taradiddle, tall long lane.
Go away, madam, I should say, madam, you display, madam, shocking taste. It is rude, madam, to intrude, madam, with your brood, madam, brazen face. You come here, madam, interfere, madam, with a fear, madam, I am one. You're aware, madam, what you dare, madam, so take care, madam, and be gone.
Let us say, madam, I should say, madam, they display, madam, shocking taste. It is rude, madam, to allude, madam, to your brood, madam, brazen face. We don't fear, madam, any fear, madam, but my dear, madam, this is fun. They will stare, madam, run away, madam, when you dare, madam, when you're done.
Bearded by these puny mortals, I will launch from the fairy portals. All our foes, terrific thunders, we
Mary. Of hasty tones with dames unknown, I ought to be more chary. It seems that she's a fairy from Anderson's library, and I took her for the proprietor of a ladies' seminary.
We took her for the proprietor of a ladies' seminary.
When next your houses do assemble, you may tremble.
Our wrath when gentlemen offend us is tremendous. They mean to underrate our calling, doom appalling.
Take down our sentence as we speak it, and he shall wreak it.
Oh, spare us.
Henceforth strife and cast away, crooks and pipes and ribbons so gay, flocks and herds that bleat and low, into Parliament you shall go.
Into Parliament ye shall go, backed by our supreme authority, he'll command a large majority. Into Parliament, 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 he shall go. Into Parliament, he shall go. Into Parliament, 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 he shall go. Into Parliament, he shall go.
In a parliamentary hive, liberal or conservative, Whig or Tory, I don't know, but into Parliament you shall go.
Into Parliament he shall go, backed by our supreme authority, he'll command a large majority. Into Parliament, 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 he shall go. Into Parliament he shall go. Into Parliament, 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 he shall go. Into Parliament he shall go.
Every bill and every measure that may gratify his pleasure, though your fury it arouses, shall be passed by both your houses. You shall sit, if he sees reason, through the grouse and salmon season.
No!
He shall end the cherished rights you enjoy on Friday nights.
No!
He shall prick that annual blister, marriage with deceased wife's sister.
Mercy!
Titles shall ennoble then all the common councilmen.
Spare us!
Peers shall teem in Christendom, and a duke's exalted station be attainable by competitive examination.
pains and sentry go to chase monotony. He exercises of his brains, that is, assuming that he's got any. Though never nurtured in the lap of luxury, yet I admonish you, I am an intellectual chap, and think of things that would astonish you. I often think it's comical, fa-la-la, fa-la-la, that nature always does contrive, fa-la-la-la, that every boy and every gal that's born into this world alive is either a little liberal or else a little conservative. Fa-la-la, fa-la-la is either a little liberal or else a little conservative. When in that house MPs divide, if they've a brain and cerebellum too, they've got to leave that brain outside and vote just as their leaders tell them to. But then the prospect of a lot of dull MPs in close proximity, all thinking for themselves, is what no man can face with equanimity. So let's rejoice with loud fa-la, fa-la-la, fa-la-la, that nature always does contrive, fa-la-la-la, that every boy and every gal that's born into this world alive is either a little liberal or else a little conservative. Fa-la-la, fa-la-la is either a little liberal or else a little conservative.
Stratton's a member of Parliament, carries every bill he chooses to his measures all assent, showing them lyrics how to uses. Whigs and Tories dim their glories, giving an ear to all his stories. Pros and cons of both in the views, Stratton makes them shaking their shoes, shaking their shoes, shaking their shoes, shaking their shoes. Stratton makes them shaking their shoes and their shoes.
Parliament, running amok from all abuses, is a qualified assent. Somehow nobody now refuses. Whigs and Tories dim their glories, giving an ear to all the stories. Every billion they wish. Here's a pretty kettle of fish, kettle of fish, kettle of fish, kettle of fish, kettle of fish. Here's a pretty kettle of fish.
Stratton's a member of Parliament, carries every bill he chooses to his measures all assent. Carry every billion they wish, carry every billion they wish. Here's a pretty kettle of fish.
It's so. Why, this ridiculous protege of... Good. Protege. He's playing the deuce with everything. Why, tonight is the second reading of his bill to throw the peerage open to competitive examination.
And he'll carry it, too.
Carry it? Of course he will. He's a parliamentary U-Haul. He carries everything.
Yes, if you please, that's our fault.
The deuce it is.
We influence the members and compel them to vote exactly as he wishes them to.
It's our system. It shortens the debates.
Well, but think of the damage you're doing. I don't so much mind for myself, but with a House of Peers with no grandfathers worth mentioning, the country must go to the dogs.
I suppose it must.
I don't want to say a word against brains. I've a great deal of respect for brains. I often wish I had some myself. But with a House of Peers composed entirely of persons of intellect, what's to become of the House of Commons?
I never thought of that.
This comes of women interfering in politics. It so happens that if there is any institution in Great Britain which is not susceptible to any improvement whatsoever, it is the House of Peers. When Britain really ruled the waves in good Queen Bess's time, the House of Peers made no pretense to intellectual eminence or scholarship sublime. Yet Britain won her proudest days in good Queen Bess's glorious days. Yet Britain won her proudest days in good Queen Bess's glorious days. Yes, Britain won her proudest days in good Queen Bess's glorious days. When Wellington thrashed Bonaparte, as any child can tell, the House of Peers throughout the war did nothing in particular and did it very well. Yet Britain set the world ablaze in good King George's glorious days. Yet Britain set the world ablaze in good King George's glorious days. Yes, Britain set the world ablaze in good King George's glorious days. And while the House of Peers withholds its legislative hand, and noble statesmen do not itch to interfere in matters which they do not understand. As bright as in Great Britain's days, as in good George's glorious days, as bright will shine Great Britain's rays as in King George's glorious days. As bright will shine Great Britain's rays as in King George's glorious
days. Charming persons, are they not?
Oh, distinctly. For self-contained dignity combined with airy condescension, give me a British representative peer.
Then pray stop this protege. I do love that word. Protege of yours before it's too late. Think of the damage you are doing.
But we can't stop him now. Aren't they lovely? Oh, why did you go and defy us, you great geese? In vain to us you plead, don't go. Your prayers we do not heed, don't go. It's true we sigh, but don't suppose a tearful eye forgiveness shows. Oh no,
ha, call forth indignant dears. Ha, ha, if that's the case, my dears.
Don't go!
We'll go.
Oh, shame! Shame upon you! Is this your fidelity to the laws you are bound to obey? Know ye not that it is death to marry a mortal?
Yes, but it is not death to wish to marry a mortal.
If it were, you'd have to execute us all.
Ah, this is weakness. Subdue it.
Oh, we know it's weakness,
But the weakness is so strong. We're not all as tough as you are.
Tough? Do you suppose that I am insensible to the effects of manly beauty? Look at that man. A perfect picture. Who are you, sir?
Private Willis, B Company, 1st Grenadier Guards.
You're a very fine fellow, sir.
I am generally admired.
I can quite understand it. Now, here is a man whose physical attributes are simply godlike. That man has an extraordinary effect upon me. If I yielded to a natural impulse, I would fall down and worship that man. But I mortify this inclination. I wrestle with it, and it lies beneath my feet. That is how I treat my regard for that man.
Oh, foolish faith, think you because his bravery my cause of thoughts, I disobey our fairy laws, because I fly in realms above, in tendency to not in better spirits. I'm engaged to 2 noblemen at once. That's enough to make any girl happy. But I'm miserable. Oh. Don't think it's because I care for Strephon, for I hate him. How can any girl love a man who goes about with a mother considerably younger than himself?
Phyllis, my darling.
Phyllis, my own.
Oh! Oh, don't! How dare you! Oh, but perhaps you're the 2 noblemen I'm engaged to.
I am one of them.
I am the other.
Well, my darling, my own, have you decided which of you it's to be?
Not altogether. It's a rather difficult proposition. It'd be hardly delicate to just toss up. On the whole, we would rather let you decide.
Oh, how can it possibly concern me? You are both earls. You are both rich. And you are both plain.
So we are. At least, I am.
So am I.
No, no!
Oh, yes, I am indeed very plain.
Well, perhaps you are.
There's really nothing to choose between you. If one of you were to forego his title and distribute his estates amongst his Irish tenantry, why then I should see no problem in accepting the other.
Tallulah, are you prepared to make this sacrifice?
No.
Not even to oblige a lady?
No, not even to oblige a lady.
Well, then the only question is, which one of us will give way to the other? Perhaps, on the whole, she would be happier with me. I don't know, I may be wrong.
No, I don't know that you are. I really believe she would. But the awkward part of the thing is, if you deprive me of the girl of my heart, then we must fight. And one of us must die. It's a family tradition I've sworn to respect. It's a painful proposition because I have a great regard for you, George.
My dear Thomas.
You are very dear to me, George. We were boys together. Well, at least I was. No, if I were to survive you, my existence would be hopelessly embittered.
Well, then you must not do it. I say it again and again. If it will have this effect on you, then you must not do it. No. If one of us is to crush the other, let it be me.
No!
Oh, yes, by our boyish friendship, I implore you.
Well, be it so. But no, I cannot consent to an act which would crush you with unavailing remorse.
But it would not do so. Oh, sure, I should be very sad at first. Who would not be? But it would wear off. I like you very much, but perhaps not as much as you like me.
George, you're a noble fellow, but that telltale tear betrays you. No, you are indeed very fond of me, and I cannot consent to give you a week's uneasiness on my account.
But it would not last a week. Remember, you lead the House of Lords. Upon your demise, I shall take your place. Oh, Thomas, it would not last a day.
Oh, now I do hope you're not going to fight over me, for it really isn't worthwhile.
Well, I don't believe it is. Nor I. The sacred ties of friendship are paramount.
For perhaps I may incur your blame. The things are few I would not do in friendship's name.
And I may say I think the same. Not even love should rank above true friendship's name.
Then free me, mine the blame. Forget your praise and go your ways in friendship's name. In friendship's name.
Oh, many a man in friendship's name
This
sacrifice to thy dear name. Accept this sacrifice to thy dear name.
Love, unrequited, robs me of me rest. Love, hopeless love, my ardent soul encumbers. Love, nightmare-like, lies heavy on me chest, and weaves itself into my midnight slumbers. When you're lying awake with a dismal headache and repose is tabooed by anxiety, I conceive you may use any language you choose to indulge in without impropriety. For your brain is on fire, the bedclothes conspire of usual slumber to plunder you. First your counterpane goes and uncovers your toes, and the sheet slips demurely from under you. Then the blanketing tickles, you feel like mixed pickles, so terribly sharp is the pricking. And your heart and your cross, and you tumble and toss till there's nothing twixt you and the ticking. Then the bedclothes all creep to the ground in a heap, and you pick them all up in a tangle. And next your pillow resigns and politely declines to remain at its usual angle, where you get some repose in the form of a doze with hot eyeballs and head ever aching. But your slumbering teems with such horrible dreams that you'd very much better be waking. For you dream you are crossing the channel and tossing about in a steamer from Harritrue, which is something between a large bathing machine and a very small second-class carriage. And you're giving a treat, penny ice and cold meat, to a party of friends and relations. They're a ravenous horde, and they all came on board at Sloane Square and South Kensington stations. And bound on that journey, you find your attorney, who started that morning from Devon. He's a bit undersized, and you don't feel surprised when he tells you he's only 11. Why, you're driving like mad with a singular lad. By the by, the ship's now a four-wheeler. And you're playing round games, and he calls you bad names when you tell him that ties pay the dealer. Well, this you can't stand, so you throw up your hand and you find you're as cold as an icicle. In your shirt and your socks, the black silk with gold clocks, crossing Salisbury Plain on a bicycle. And he and the crew are on bicycles too, which they've somehow or other invested in. And he's telling the tars all the particulars of a company he's interested in. It's a scheme of devices to get his low prices, all goods from cloth pictures to cables, which tickled the sailors by treating retailers as though they were all vegetables. You get a good spadesman to plant a small tradesman, first take off his boots with a boot tree, and his legs will take root and his fingers will shoot, and they'll blossom and bud like a fruit tree. From the greengrocer tree you get grapes and green pea, cauliflower, pineapples and cranberries, while the pastry cook plant cherry brandy with grand apple puffs and three corners and banberries. The shares are a penny, and ever so many are taken by Enron and Shilling. And just as a few are allotted to you, you awake with a shot of despairing. You're a regular wreck with a creak in your neck, and no wonder you scoff with your heads on the floor. You needles and pins from your soles to your shins, your pleasures are creeping, your left leg's asleep, you're cramping your nose and a fly in your nose, some phlegm in your lung and a feverish tongue, unless it's intended in a general sense that you haven't been sleeping in clover. But the darkness is past, and it's daylight at last. The night has been long, ditto, ditto, my song. And thank goodness they're both of them over.
much distressed to see your lordship in this condition.
Oh, my lords, it is seldom that a Lord Chancellor has reason to envy the position of another, but I am free to confess that I would rather be 2 earls engaged to Phyllis than any other half-dozen noblemen upon the face of the globe.
Yes, it's an enviable position when you're the only one. Oh yes, no doubt most enviable. At the same time, seeing you thus, we naturally say to ourselves, this is very sad. His lordship is as constitutionally as blithe as a bird. He trills upon the bench like a thing of song and gladness. His series of judgments in F sharp, even Andante in 6/8 time, are among the most remarkable effects ever produced in a court of chancery. He is perhaps the only living instance of a judge whose decrees have received the honor of a double encore. Bravo, bravo. How can we bring ourselves to do that which will deprive the court of chancery of one of its most attractive features?
I feel the force of your remarks, but I am here in 2 capacities, and they clash, my lords, they clash. I deeply grieve to say that in denying my last application to myself, I presume to address myself in terms which render it impossible for me ever to apply to myself again. It was a most painful scene, my lord, most painful.
This is what it is to have 2 capacities. Let us be thankful that we are persons of no capacity whatsoever.
Come, you must remember you are a very just and kindly old gentleman, and need have no hesitation in approaching yourself, so that you do so respectfully and with a proper show of deference.
Do you really think so?
I do.
Well then, I will nerve myself to another effort, and if that fails, I resign myself to my fate.
If you go in, you're sure to win. Yours will be the charming maid. Be your law, the ancient saw. Faint heart never won fair lady. Never, never, never. Faint heart never won fair lady. Every journey has an end. When at the worst affairs will mend. Dark the dawn when day is nigh. Hustle your horse and don't say die.
He who shies at such a prize is not worth the maravedi. Be so kind to bear in mind, faint heart never won fair lady.
Never, 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 faint heart never won fair lady. While the sunshine make your hay, where a will is there's a way. Be as the lion in his lair, none but the brave deserve the fair.
I'll take heart and make a start, though I fear the prospect shady. Much I'd spend to gain my end. Faint heart never won fair lady. Never, never, never. Faint heart never won fair lady. Nothing venture, nothing win. Blood is thick, but water's thin. In for a penny, in for a pound. It's love that makes the world go round. Nothing venture, nothing win. Blood is thick, but water's thin. In for a penny, in for a pound. It's love that makes the world go round.
My bill has now been read a second time. Is ready, vote no member now refuses. that I can turn to mighty uses. What joy to carry in the very teeth of ministry, cross-bench and opposition. Some rather urgent measures quite beneath the keen of patriarch and politician. Hold your flapping wings, soaring legislature. Stoop to little things, stoop to human nature. Never need to roam. Members patriotic, let's begin at home. Crime is no exotic, bitter is your bane. Terrible your trials, dingy Drury Lane, sopeless 7 dials. Take a tipsy lout gathered from the gutter, hustle him about, strap him to a shutter. What am I but he, washed at how estated, fed on filagree, clothed and educated. He's a mark of scorn, I might be another, if I had been born of a tipsy mother. Take a wretched thief through the city sneaking, pocket handkerchief ever seeking. What is he but I, robbed of all my chances, picking pockets by force of circumstances. I might be as bad, as unlucky rather, if I only had as a father.
Phyllis! Phyllis!
Yes?
Phyllis! Or I suppose I should say, my lady. For I have not been told to which title your ladyship has been pleased to select.
I haven't decided yet. You see, I have no mother to advise me.
No, I have.
Yes, a young mother.
Not quite. A couple of centuries old or so.
She wears well.
She does. She's a fairy.
I beg your pardon, a what?
Oh, I've no longer any reason to conceal the fact. She's a fairy.
A fairy? Well, that would account for a good many things. Then I suppose you're a fairy.
I'm half a fairy.
Which half?
The upper half, down to the waistcoat.
Dear me. There's nothing to show for it.
Don't do that.
Well, why didn't you tell me this before?
I was afraid you would take a dislike to me. But as it's all off, you might as well know the whole truth. I'm only half a mortal.
Well, I'd rather have half a mortal I do love than half a dozen I don't.
Oh, no. Go to your half dozen.
It's only 2. And I hate them. Please forgive me.
I don't think I ought to. Besides, all sorts of difficulties will arise. You know my grandmother looks as young as my mother. So do all of my aunts.
I quite understand. Whenever I see you kissing a very young lady, I shall know it's an elderly relative.
You will? Then, Phyllis, I think we shall be very happy.
Oh, we won't wait long.
No, we'll get married right away.
And change our minds later.
That's the usual course.
If a week enough to tarry ere we marry you and I, of the feeling I inspire you may tire by and by. For peers with flowing corpus press their offers and as wide. So I
I think we should not tarry ere we marry, you and I.
If we're weak enough to tarry ere we marry, you and I, with a more attractive maiden to a lady, you'll be fine. If by chance we should be parted, broken-hearted I should die. So I think we will not tarry ere we marry, you and I.
If we're weak enough to tarry ere we marry, you and I, of the feeling I inspire, you'll retire by and by. If we're weak enough to tarry ere we marry, you and I,
with a more attractive maiden to a lady, by and by.
So I think we should not tarry ere we marry, ere we marry, you and I, you and I, you and I.
Does your mother know you're... I mean, is she aware of our engagement?
She is, and thus she welcomes her daughter-in-law.
Oh, she kisses just like other people. Oh, but the Lord Chancellor...
Oh, I forgot him. Mother, none can resist your fairy eloquence. You will go to him and plead our case for us?
No, no, impossible.
But our happiness, our very lives depend upon it.
Oh, madam, you cannot refuse to do this.
You do not know what you ask. The Lord Chancellor is my husband.
Your husband?
My husband and your father.
But our course is plain. Upon his seeing that Strephon is his son, all objections to our marriage will be at once removed.
Nay, he must never know. For, dearly as I love him, I am bound under penalty of death not to deceive him. But see, he comes. Quick, my veil.
Victory! Victory! Success has crowned my efforts, and I may consider myself engaged to Phyllis. At first, I wouldn't hear of it. It was out of the question. But I took heart. I pointed out to myself that I was no stranger to myself. In point of fact, I'd been personally acquainted with myself for some time. Well, this had its effect. I admitted that I had watched my professional advancement with considerable interest, and, I handsomely added, I yielded to no one in my admiration for my private and professional virtues. This was a great point gained. I then endeavored to work upon my feelings. Conceive my joy when I, this one, distinctly perceived a tear glistening in my own eye. Eventually, after a severe struggle, I reluctantly, most reluctantly, consented.
My lord, a suppliant at your feet I kneel. Oh, listen to a mother's fond appeal. Hear me tonight. I come
It shall not be, for so the fates decide. Learn thou that Phyllis is my promised bride.
Thy bride? No, no.
It shall be so. Those who would separate us, woe betide.
My doom thy lips have spoken, I plead in vain. A vow already broken, I break again. For him, for her, for thee, I yield my life. Behold, it may not be. I am thy wife.
Iolanthe, thou livest!
I live, now let me die. Once again thy vows are broken, thou thyself thy doom hast spoken. Owe thyself to destiny, death thy doom, and thou shalt die.
Hold! If Iolanthe must die, so must we all. For as she has sinned, so have we.
What?
We are all fairy duchesses, marchionesses, countesses, viscountesses, and baronesses.
It's our fault. They could not help themselves.
It seems they have helped themselves. And pretty freely, too. You've all incurred death. But I can't slaughter the whole company. Yet the law is clear. Every fairy must die who marries a mortal.
Allow me, as an old equity draftsman, to make a suggestion. The subtleties of the legal mind are equal to the emergency. It's really quite simple. The insertion of a single word will do it. Let it read that every fairy shall die who don't marry a mortal. And there you are, out of your difficulty at once.
We like your humor. Very well. Private Willis. To save my life, it is necessary that I marry at once. How would you like to be a fairy guardsman?
Well, I don't think much of the British soldier that wouldn't ill-convenience himself to save a female in distress.
You're a brave fellow. You're a fairy from this moment. And you, my lords, what say you? Would you join our ranks?
Well, now that peers are to be recruited entirely from persons of intellect, I really don't see what use we are down here, do you, Talala?
None whatever.
Splendid. Then off we go to Fairyland.
Soon as we may, off and away, we'll commence our journey. Happy are we, as you can see, everyone is now a fairy. Everyone is now a fairy. Though as a general rule, you know, two strings go to every bow. Make up your minds and grief to bring, if you've to bow to every string. Though as a general rule, you know, two strings go to every bow. Make up your minds and grief to bring, if you've to bow to every string.
Up in the sky, ever so high, pleasures come in endless series. We will arrange happy exchange, house of peers for house of peers, peers, house of peers for house of peers. Up in the air, sky high, free from wards and chancery, he shall be surely happier for he's such a susceptible chancellor. Up in the air, sky high, free from wards and chancery, he will be surely happier for he's such a susceptible chancellor.
Thank you.